tell me what got going on that dirt. Yeah.
Yo, if I were podcasting, it would be insane. Knowledge flowing like the sweetest rain. Professor Bear on the mic, spreading wisdom wide. A bear's thoughts, that's my pride, can't hide.
With the voices in your ear, changing the game.
If I rule podcasting, every thought we'd ignite. In a world of chatter, we'll spark in the fight. With Professor Bear, we're climbing to new heights. A Bear's thoughts podcast, shining bright in the night. Topics from the heart, never sounding the same. Got laughs and debates, never dull or bland. From culture to tech, take you by the hand. Join the ride with us, feel the vibe expand. With every episode, we shine that beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul.
So tune in, don't miss what we got to share. If I rule podcasting, I spread the love everywhere.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I am Professor Bear, and this is A Bear's Thought. And today, our show is sponsored by two great companies that I personally use and love. One is Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. With them, they are they have so many different selections of wrestling memorabilia. They have figures, they have accessories, they have title belts, they have cards, collectible cards. They have so many different things. And you can find so many good memories from them. So all you need to do is go on Facebook and look up Tag Team Toys and Collectibles, and you will fall in love once again with wrestling. And the second one is Chops Cards and Print on Demands. Now, if you're anything like me and being a wrestling fan, I always did love trading cards. So I always thought to myself, if I ever was able to get into any kind of sports, I wanted a trading card of myself. Well, that didn't work out because of one, I'm lazy and not going to work hard. And two, I don't have any athletic ability. But Chops Card have made my dreams still come true because they're the number one in independent card designs. They make such fabulous cards, and I'm actually getting 18 personalized cards for $50. You cannot beat that anywhere unless you use the code BEAR15 and you get 15% off your entire purchase. That's BEAR15. So definitely check them out, give them a try. That is Chops Cards and Print on Demands, your number one for independent card making. Now, today, with this 2026 of celebrating and giving flowers out to all these different wrestling podcasters, I had to keep it in the family. This gentleman, I have to tell a quick backstory. when I'm looking through wrestling things, I always just stroll. And I came across his video, and he was doing an interview with Jacob Fatu right before he got signed to WWE. And I listened to the whole interview and was so amazed in how well he handled that interview and did everything with Jacob. And so then I just started becoming a fan. Then I reached out to him. We talked for a little while, and then we became friends. And then I begged him, man, come on, be a part of WSN. You have so much to give. And you're over in the UK, and we need a presence in the UK. And he was gracious enough to do that. This is my friend Jordan. Jordan, how are you doing today, sir?
Well, first of all, what an intro you have. And I'm very excited to do this because this is my first one of 2026, and I'm being the first guest of 2026. So it's kind of like a little exciting time to be a part of the WSN, and exciting part that you are doing with the podcast appreciation month. I've seen the one that you did with Stanley Carr and Bronwyn Billington. Massive fans of their work as well. But you mentioned obviously Jacob Fatu. Yeah, that was when I was starting my podcast journey. But just to answer your question, how I'm feeling a little rough, but I'm happy to be here.
Man, I'm so glad you are here. I'm sorry that you're a little under the weather.
Okay.
But as always, as I like to start my interviews off, I always ask the question of how did you start? How did you get into wrestling?
How did I get into wrestling? That's a very good question. So I was 6, maybe 7, and I fell in love with. So I'm 25 now. So we're talking 2006, 2007. With John Cena, going on his mega run as the champion at the time, and then obviously DX before Triple H got injured, and Rey Mysterio, Batista. Do you know what I mean? My dad got me into it as a kid, and that's kind of at the time what brought mine and my dad's relationship probably close. My favorites growing up was Jeff Hardy. I just loved what he was doing. I personally think if Jeff stayed on the straight and narrow and stayed with WWE, he would have been a bigger star than probably John Cena at the time. That's just my personal opinion because of how popular he was in 08, 09.
Oh, yeah.
But how did I get into it? Yeah, just pretty much growing up as a kid, putting it on. My first WrestleMania, I would say, was WrestleMania 23 that I fully watched with my father, which that was a really good one because you had Trump and Vince at the time doing their little battle of the billionaires.
Right. The only thing I like Trump in, but that's neither here nor there. That's amazing. And your background is similar to mine. My father got me into wrestling, and back because I'm older than you, and I grew up late 70s, early 80s, so we didn't have a lot of different choices on television show, and we were blessed to have cable television.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to pick up Georgia Championship Wrestling, Continental Championship Wrestling, World Class. We got a different variety of wrestling, and I was lucky enough to be able to see there were so many different styles, and depending on where you were from and stuff, and it just stuck with me so much. So with you having that close relationship with your dad over wrestling, how did you translate that into doing podcasting?
It's a funny story. So obviously, like as you grow older, circumstances happen and stuff like that. Probably my relationship with my father is not the best currently. So obviously, we all go through like a little dark time in our lives and stuff like that. Work in 2022. I've told this story numerous of times, but in 2022, I got married, and it should have been one of the best years of my life. It turned out it wasn't, and with work and just home life and yeah, it just wasn't the best. I would say mental health and bullying and just it got involved. So then 2023, I thought big shout out to Liam, the magic of wrestling. Do you know what I mean? I did like a little preview show that I went to with him. Well, I wouldn't say with him, but he was there, and then he posted something on Facebook like he wanted to do like a review show. And I was like, do you know what? I'll do it because I'm a wrestling fan and stuff like that. Never thought about even doing anything. So it's like now I was talking on the show, do you know what I mean? And it was like an hour long and I just loved it. And then I thought, Liam did like podcasting with another network, previously and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what? I want to try and give this a go. So a big shout out to Alex Zane, who I reached out to and I pitched the idea. And then I did my first one, but then I thought, oh, do you know what? It's quite rubbish. So then I want to say throughout 2023, I think I did like 6 because I was on and off debating whether to do it. So then I said to myself at the end of 2023, I want to give this 2024 a shot. I want to kick ass in 2024 and I'm going to get as much guests as I can. I'm going to proper like reach out to people and have different stars on. I worked with Liam a few times in 2024, like asking for advice and stuff like that. I gave him advice on how to, I'm not saying market, but how to sell yourself and all these bits and bobs, like working together. Liam is now, I would class as a brother. He is someone who I can call, message, and probably within an hour, half an hour, he'd ring me back or message. And then end of 2024, I was like, shit, do you know what? I've actually really done good. Like more than what I expected. And then I was like, what's the plan for 2025? So I had a 4 to 5 month break. And it really did recharge the batteries because I was like, what else can I do? And then from, I want to say May 25 up until December. Sorry. I worked closely with Liam. I would say from May till December, I had a lot of guests just with Liam. I was very fortunate in 2025 to have 6 guests from AEW, which my plan in 2026 is to have more from AEW because AEW is what I would call my number one promotion at the moment that I like to watch and I like to see, and it's got people there who I like.
Right.
So the fact that I can say that I've interviewed 6 members from that roster, it's like, it's incredible. And the fact that I can now work with one of my best friends is incredible. And the opportunities that I could probably get presented in 2026 is remarkable. And the fact that also in 2026, I'm going to be a part of the WSN, which I have a few plans in mind myself to help you guys, is going to be remarkable. Because I think personally that 2026, 2027 could be my last, do you know what I mean, the final 2 years that I will be doing this. Because in 2027, there could be a time like where I won't be able to do it as much or again. So yeah, that's kind of like a little story.
Oh wow! So, man, and I think if I remember correctly, I think when I first saw your video with Jacob, it was in February or March, and I was and I was so impressed. Not only that you got Jacob, and Jacob at the time he was in MLW, and he was tearing it up. But I enjoyed it was such a human interview. And there's so many different styles of interviews, but yours were just I felt like your interview with him made me see him in such a different light. And it was like, oh wow, seems such a laid back, nice person.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody has their character they play. But to me, the interview just made me see him more as human versus the character. And it made me follow him even more when he got to WWE and cheer for him and felt like I had a personal relationship with him. And that's what I love about your interview styles. It's just like you're talking to a friend. Y'all just
100%.
having a nice conversation and y'all just happen to be talking about wrestling.
100%, and I will agree with you on that one. And Jacob, I reached out to Jacob at a time like where he was finishing his dates with MLW, and then obviously did a few indie dates, and then I knew from that moment that it was now or never, and he was going to get signed to WWE. It was just a matter of when. So when I did that interview, I did it on. Funny enough, I did it on February the 14th, and like 40 odd days later, he signed with WWE. So, and if you look on YouTube, there's not many like virtual ones with Jacob. I'm probably one of many, like select, unless you're like a Muscle Man Malcolm or someone like that. I'm one of select, and that chat. I'm a massive fan of the Anoa'i family, Fatu family, and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is in my top 5 favorite wrestlers ever. It's just I love everything about him. His presence, the way he moves, the way he is in ring, on the mic, his charisma. I've got nothing but great things to say about Jacob Fatu. If it wasn't for Jacob Fatu, I wouldn't say. If it wasn't for Jacob Fatu, I wouldn't be where I am today. The guests that I've had, yeah, I owe everything to Jacob Fatu.
And I love that. And I love the fact that you're a big Iowa family. You love them. I have a quick story about them.
Yeah.
My older brother, and I have 2 brothers, a sister, and 2 half sisters. Well, my 2 brothers and my sister all were living in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. And it was the early 90s, late 80s, about to go the 90s. And my brother, he was working at a rental car place. And like I said, my father was a wrestling fan, so that meant all of us in the family knew wrestling. Well, my brother was doing the rental cars, and he started renting the cars to a lot of wrestlers, so they became friends and stuff. So he would get me. I come down. My brother's 10 years older than my next brother's 9, and my sister's 8. So at the time, I was 14, 15, something like that. I would come down, spend the summer with them, hang out. And my brother always telling me good stories and stuff and who he hung out with. Well, one day he came home and he was like, man, I was hanging out with the Samoans. He's like, they're good, great people. He said, but man, their kids are terrible. He said they got these 2 badass twins and their little cousin, and they're terrible. Turned out he was talking about the Usos and Roman Reigns.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's so funny and crazy how small, as big as the world is, also how small it is. So with your interview style, do you feel like it sets you apart from? Well, no. Let me ask it like this: how do you feel like it sets you apart from other podcasters?
I feel like my style is different because at first I was all over the place. So if I go out back to watch my first few interviews, I was all over the place. I didn't have a structure, I didn't have a plan, I didn't know what I was doing. But the more I've done it, the questions that I ask and the way I present myself, and I just like to treat every conversation that I have with someone as though I've known you for like the last 10 years. So my recent interviews, I'd say probably if I've done 9, most interviews that I've done with Liam have gone viral. Do you know what I mean? They've done really good. And I know what to ask. I'm not saying I know what to ask for that to happen, but I know the questions to ask that don't push the boundaries. And with the guests, I know how to show them respect. And it's all about respect, really. Because I'm taking the time out to come on your podcast, you're taking the time out to come on mine. I make them feel comfortable, and it's just like a normal conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just because they're taking like their time out of their day to come on my podcast. You know, when they could be spending it with family. For me, it's just about the respect. Do you know what I mean? I have my style. It's hard because I don't think I have a style. Do you know what I mean? But like when I'm hearing it from you, like the feedback and everything, it's nice to hear.
Right.
But I don't really feel like I have a style, if you know what I mean. I do, but I do obviously have a style, but from a third person, I don't know what that is.
Exactly. And I understand exactly what you mean by that, because I feel the same way. And like you, when I first started it, I was all over the place. I was super nervous and, oh God, this. And now I approach it as, let's have fun. We're having a conversation.
Comes more
And
natural.
yeah, and then it's like, I don't want to insult you. I don't want to necessarily have the same question as everyone else. I if I have a topic in mind, I try to make sure that it's respectful, or if I think it's even a chance that you may be offended, I always ask before we go on, hey, I want to talk about this. Are you okay with this? Or, hey, is there any subject that you don't want to approach?
That's what I do as well. Yeah.
And I feel like there are so many different podcasters, and no shade at them saying that what they do is terrible or anything like that. But as like you just said, I have something that I'm in the pocket with, where sometimes I was so worried about my pronunciation, my stutters, my different things. And then I start embracing it. It's like, this is me. I'm not going to be fake for anyone. Let me be me. And even the little mistakes are me. I own them, and I can laugh at myself. I want to have people to be comfortable. Let's talk. And there's so many different ways to have discussions with wrestlers. And it's like, yeah, we can do the typical ABC, but let's dive in a little bit more about how you really feel about wrestling, because the stories of how you got into it, a lot of people are different.
Yep.
And that's what I like to do and have fun with.
For me, it's always nice when you have feedback. So when I finished an episode as well, it's like, I'll give you an example. Me and Liam finished an episode with Josh Barnett, like back in September? No. Back end of last year. And after that, I got a message from him. So that was nice to have. Do you know what I mean? When you don't expect it.
Right.
And that was really nice.
And see, I'm a little different. It's rare that I go back to watch any of my interviews, and it's not that I feel like I do a bad interview or or anything. It's a mental block of I cannot stand hearing my voice.
Same.
And it's like, were we having this conversation? I hear my voice a totally different way. Then when I look at the recording, it's like, oh my God, what in the world?
Yeah. I will never watch my video back unless I'm editing it for the chapters. That's the only time I will ever watch it.
Yes, yes. So if you had a chance to interview any wrestler, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive? Do you want male and female, or
Yeah,
just one?
that'd be great.
So, dead or alive, the first one, which will be male, would be Eddie Guerrero. And to be honest, just with a name like that, I don't need to say why, but I will. His just anytime, because obviously when he died, I was really young, but I watched all of his work from WCW to WWE. And the way that a man can captivate an audience and hook you in, and the emotion that he can put into a match, and just his mind for the business was like no other. I really do think that if he was alive today, he would have carried on wrestling till at least the late 2010s. He would have been like a Sting or a Chris Jericho or a Rey Mysterio for the age, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
And for the female, if I could interview anyone, wow. Wow. Holly Cameron. Because I think she's just so funny. And I think an interview with her would be just pure banter. And I think there would be more laughs in an interview with Harley Cameron than anyone.
It is so ironic that you say Harley, because yesterday was her birthday, one. Two, the progression she has made
Yes.
from where she started in AEW to now. And when I say this, I already know it's going to piss some people off, but I don't care. This is just what I see. She has the ability like Trish Stratus, where Trish started. She was again. I don't mean it. I never want to insult anyone, but Trish was hot garbage. She had no wrestling anything about her, but you could tell her she was dead serious of learning the craft, being better every chance she got. And no matter what you may have thought of her and her ability, she would prove you wrong. And that's what I see with Harley. I remember distinctly when they had the QT TV and she was there. I'm like, oh God, they just found another big breasted bimbo.
Yeah.
And now if I had the pleasure of meeting her, I would tell her I am so sorry that I had that thought of her, because she's made me eat my words.
Mm-hmm. 2025 was a good year for her, and this year is going to be even better.
Oh yeah, I think that her getting to be the first half of the women tag team champions is great. You see, she works hard and she's multi-talented, and the sky's the limits for her.
Almost definitely, man.
So you mentioned earlier that you're more of an AEW watcher.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
what is the thing that AEW does for you that makes you watch them over WWE?
Don't get me wrong, I do watch WWE, but I'm more hooked to AEW. Growing up, I was a SmackDown guy more than a Raw. And I feel like since Raw went to Netflix, I feel like all the attention has gone more to Raw than it is SmackDown. Because you've got recently like Cody and Drew. I can't wait for that feud to end. I think like they're the two quarterbacks for SmackDown. Do you know what I mean? There's no star power on SmackDown no more because they took everything to Raw. They took Roman to Raw, and SmackDown's like dropping below 1 million views now. Do you know what I mean? But
You're right.
AEW, it's more. I love a good wrestling match, and I love when you can get behind characters that you just see improvement with. AEW knows how to create stars, in my opinion. I'm not saying WWE doesn't,
Right.
but look at Swerve compared to AEW, compared to what he was in WWE. If you just give someone a chance, then that you can put a rocket to their ass and then they can go to the moon. There's people in WWE that I wish never signed there. It's like, no offense, the Lucha Brothers. Do you know what I mean? I've met Ray Phoenix, great guy, and obviously WWE is the dream for everyone. It is, but when you've got look at the Motor City Machine Guns, when there's so many talented wrestlers there, but they're not getting utilized or used, us as wrestling fans, it's so annoying. I'm not saying the Lucha Brothers had the best run in AEW, but they were shown and showcased a lot more there and had better matches and just presented better, in my opinion. But yeah, AEW knows how to create stars. It's just more fun. I feel like it's different every week. Like with WWE, it's just same boring shit, in my opinion.
Now, and I find it ironic that you said it that particular way, because last week I felt like both Raw and SmackDown had some freshness to it.
Agreed, but
And they're bringing up NXT talent, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go. But in the same, because let me explain. I'm an AEW person too. I like AEW. It's more southern style of wrestling storytelling. So I'm drawn to that. Now, with that being said, of course, I watch WWE. I think some talent, like in both of them, you have talent that don't get used properly. You don't have enough time, and I get it. And then WWE has the history of doing the same thing over and over and over and over for weeks. And it's like, I don't want to see this match again. I've seen it for the last 3 damn weeks. Do something else. Get some of your people that you have sitting in catering and give them a chance. Well, then now they're starting the road to WrestleMania. And it's like, I fell into the trap that I always fall into as a wrestling fan. I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. Instead of sometimes you have to be patient and let the story progress and get to a shindo so it can go. I'm again, I look at wrestling so different because of how long I've watched it. It's certain things that just pop in my head like, yes, that's great. No, that isn't. So I definitely understand what you're saying about AEW. I feel the same way. Like, take the world champion scene. You have at least I could probably name 10 guys who legitimately could win the world title and make sense. Where WWE, they don't build up their mid carders enough for me. And then when someone gets hurt, like Seth got hurt, then they're scrambling for ideals.
Yeah, it's like with just two opinions off the top of my head. Randy Orton, he should have been the champion by now, or at least a heel turn. We need that. We need something fresh. And my personal opinion, I think Cody is better chasing the title than a champion. I do think obviously he deserves it, but come on, you can't. He already ordered the title for a year, and now he's ordered it since August. Fucking hell! Give someone new a chance. Vince was right. I don't like Vince, but one thing what good Vince was good at was obviously keeping someone as champion for a little time, then changing it. It's like AEW recently. Obviously, you had Hangman. No, you had Mox that had the title for God knows how long. Then Hangman had it for like 96 days or something. Then Joe won it for 35 days. And now we've got MJF. Do you know what I mean? It's change is good.
And I love the change, but it makes sense too. That's the kicker to me. As long as it makes sense in the storyline, I'm so good with it. And one of the problems with WWE is WWE has always been a better. They usually have the good guy have the championship, and most formulas, the faces are better as chasers than champions. You get drawn in more. You have more of the emotional drawn of that. And with Cody, they didn't have enough heels built up, ready to give him legitimate fights. So we seen him against Kevin Owens. No shade against Kevin. I love Kevin, but they didn't build him up where he felt like a legitimate threat.
100%. But I personally think that his work with Kevin Owens was, out of the entire run that he had in the first reign, his work with Kevin Owens was probably the best part about
that. And that's what I love about podcasters who can have a conversation, because there are some that you have a different opinion. And again, I get it. We're going to talk, and maybe you don't agree with what I'm saying, but you're willing to listen, and that's what I love about the sport. No matter what and how terrible it gets, because there have been times it's like, why am I a wrestling fan? Why am I torturing myself?
Yeah.
But as soon as you get ready, I can't do it. They're going to do something good and I'm going to miss it. So I'm going to watch it.
Most definitely, man.
So something I hadn't asked you and was curious about. Do you watch a lot of indie wrestling?
I do. It just depends what, because obviously 7 days a week, life gets involved, like with work, family life. You get tired, you get stuff like that. Obviously, WWE, AEW, New Japan, and all that stuff pop up more because it's bigger, and I'm not saying better, but I watch GCW. I watch NWA time to time. I'm not a big NWA fan. I do like it, but it's not my cup of tea.
Right.
I watch obviously the UK ones because from the UK. I'm not very familiar with the American independent scene. I am, but I'm not. There's like 6 or 7 promotions I keep an eye on. It'd probably be GCW that I'm more eyes on, or CCW, in Florida, or like Prestige. I know them,
right,
and I watch them if there's people on there that I see, but I'm more of a UK independent, if anything, but I do keep my eyes on America as much as I can.
So with that being said, I've been trying to be better at overseas wrestling, not just the US. What indie promotion in the UK would you recommend for me to take a look at, and why?
Sorry. Progress Wrestling and Revolution Pro Wrestling. There is a lot more independent shows that are really good. In fact, just independent. I would say I'm biased. I would say we have better crowds, better like atmosphere, better just the UK wrestling. And it's not just from me saying it, but like you hear wrestlers say it that the UK is one of the most passionate wrestling fan bases around the world. I don't know what it is, but we just are, in my opinion. I would say Progress Wrestling because every May they do their super strong style tournament, which is really good to get involved. Last year was really good. This year is going to get even better, and they're doing a women's one as well.
Oh wow.
I would say Rev Pro just all round, which Will Ospreay's done a lot of work here. You got Michael Oku, who does a lot of work there as well.
Love Michael Oku, and I
Yeah.
hope that AEW stops screwing around and sign him.
Just a matter of when. And then if you're a female wrestling type of person as well that likes to see female professional wrestlers work, I would say Pro Wrestling Eve. They're going to be doing their Wrestle Queendom 8, which Will Ospreay is going to be producing as well in March. So that's going to be awesome. Harley Cameron's going to be on that one as well, so that's going to be quite good. I'd say probably them three, but just the UK as a whole do really good independent professional wrestling.
So, with that being said, again, I try to be all over the place, and I know you fall into this too. As much wrestling as we watch, sometimes we have to take a mental break to check out and be like, get ourselves together, and then we can come back in and look at things in a clearer view. I recently no, not recently. One of the shows that I always watch when I get up, I'm always watching them, and they got me really into the UK scene is Wrestle Talk.
Okay.
And I've seen where they progressed when it was just Ollie and I can't remember his partner's name right now. But I remember where they started low and they were doing interviews, then they progressed and where they are today. I love listening to their take on wrestling. I've learned to get different takes from different people, and it makes me become more fluent and more understanding of styles that I may generally brush off. That now I take the time to, okay, let me see. Oh, okay, this. With the indie scene, and especially when WWE it seemed like damn near wiped your indie scene out. I see the resurgence of it. Do you think that it was a good thing that WWE had their moment of their NXT there, and that it made the indie scene now stronger and more passionate versus before WWE's invasion?
I feel like the independent scene's always like thrived and like just been really good as in general. I feel like we had NXT UK, which that was really bad for Well, it was good because obviously they all had jobs, but all the best independent UK professional wrestlers were signed to WWE. So it was they couldn't go round or doing independent bookings as much. So that hurt the UK scene a little bit. But I feel like I'll use the black and gold brand for example. Do you know that time of NXT where you had at one point they brought in Drew McIntyre. It's like every other month they were bringing in someone new, but who it's like at one point in 2014 they brought Hideo Itami Kenta, then they brought Finn Balor, then Kevin Owens, and then Samoa Joe. But then in 2015 they brought a few in. Do you know what I mean? Each year they brought a few
Yeah.
people in, and that was good. That time for NXT was really good because WrestleMania weekend, you knew that NXT was going to steal the show and he was going to be
Oh,
the pay per view.
oh yes.
I feel like the NXT has always thrived. Obviously, it went through his little weird stage for NXT 2.0 and stuff like that. But obviously now we've got Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Tiffany Stratton, stuff like that. But at the time when they first did NXT 2.0 and these people were coming, you're thinking, who the friggin' are you?
Yeah.
But independent wrestling has always thrived, and I feel like it's just obviously now Matt Cardona has signed to WWE again. That's a huge loss for the independent scene. But anytime any wrestlers get released, it's good and it's bad for them because it's good that it's good because they're on the independent scene and you've got a chance to go meet them compared to if they were in WWE.
Right.
But then it's also bad because obviously you don't want anyone to lose their job, their dream job.
Definitely. So if let's just say this is my first time I'm saying I'm gonna do podcasting and I'm coming to you, what would be your advice to me on doing podcasting?
My advice would be don't change who you are as a person. Be original. Don't be someone or try to be anyone that you're not. Have a structure. Plan it out. If people don't get back to you, I'm not saying don't cry. Do you know what I mean? For every 10,000 no's that you get, you will get a yes. Always reach out, whether that's via email, messenger, anything. Do you know what I mean? Just be patient and your time will come. Believe in yourself and don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask for some advice. That's what I would say. And just give it a go.
Love it. Man, I appreciate that you came on the show. Um, again, I've always loved what you've done. I mean, it definitely touched me, or I wouldn't have reached out. I wouldn't have asked you to join WSN. I think you have a marvelous future ahead. I think we have some great things that are coming up that we're gonna. I think this is gonna be the year that we're gonna be worldwide. I think people are going to start recognizing us as a serious player in wrestling. And I just want to thank you for everything you do, your hard work, and man, just for you being you.
Appreciate that, man. It's always nice to have some like feedback because we're our own worst enemy. Do you know what I mean? You might not think that you do good, but I'm going to tell you as your friend and obviously a part of the WSN as well. Your work that I've seen that you do is amazing as well. Don't change for anyone. So I want to thank you as well. Do you know what I mean? And for what you are doing with this podcast appreciation month, it's really nice to see other people in the podcast space. So I'm going to thank you for on behalf of what you do, not just for WSN, but for just everything in general, and for being a friend, and for allowing me to come on and tell my story and just pretty much chat shit on wrestling. Do you know what I mean? But thank you for the amazing feedback, and I appreciate it, and I take it on board, and I just carry on trying to do my best. So thank you.
And that's to me, that's the big thing. No matter what anyone thinks of what you do, if you don't believe in you, then you might as well get out of this. Because if you cannot believe in yourself, then why would anybody else believe in you? So you got to have that confidence. You got to have that belief in that grit. You fall down, get back up, dust yourself off. And just like you said, you might get 1,000 no's, but you will get a yes. And when you get a yes, you make every second of that count and make sure that you let people know, hey, you missed out on a great opportunity. Then you never know when they'll come back and say, hey, man, I can't is that offer still available?
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Again, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Definitely would come on again soon.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna do some more stuff. I got the brain going, I got some ideas, so we'll definitely be talking after this.
That's definitely. Thank you, man.
Oh, anytime. Guys, girls, thank you so much for watching another great interview. And you getting to learn so much about all different podcasters. Again, everybody loves wrestling, but we have different reasons and different styles and different things. So thank you for being willing to listen and find out other people's stories, because you just never know it, and it's amazing. But as always, I always say before I leave, please, please, please support your local wrestling. I can't say it enough. You never know who is in your town, in your city, wherever. They're small now, but in years, you never know who will be the next big thing in wrestling, and you missed out by supporting them when they were starting. To me, I get to help push a man, woman in their dreams. I couldn't live mine, but I can give you my energy and we can all live it together. So please continue support indie wrestling. I am Professor Bear. This has been a Bear's Thought, and we will see you around the campfire real soon. Y'all take care.